Hello folks, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In this video, we will be discussing a current affair topic presented to you by your faculty Sushma KP. So what is the topic that we will be looking into today? What is China's view after Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Chinese President Xi Jinping meet, especially in your SCO Summit in Tianjin? Now, in this video, we will be discussing how your Chinese analysts, let's say column writers, newspaper analysis, and also how the Chinese people's sentiment is about India. Understanding? Now, India has visited China, especially after a cold break of your, let's say, 7 years almost. This comes post your 2019 Galwan clashes standoff. So after this is the first time that they have gone to the SCO Summit. See, first and foremost, if you see in Tianjin with respect to SCO Summit, this year raised so many eyebrows. We have also did a lot of videos on the importance of SEO this year. Do check that out. Now, if you're someone who wants to get to know more about the geopolitical contest, what happening in the IR with respect to the national news, then one of the best sources you can get all this information is Legacy IAS Academy. So if you have to keep getting contents on that, what are you supposed to do? Click subscribe to the channel. All right. Now, let's come to the topic. How does China view the warming up of India and China relationship? See, in this context, we can break down three separate camps or three separate sections as to how people in China are viewing the getting closer of India and China. The first is your strategic autonomy camp. The second is Asian neighbors must unite camp. The third is constant vigilance camp. Understanding? So we will be breaking down of each of these camps. See, as of now, before your US President Donald Trump wrote a very cheerful message on social media as to how good of relation that India and USA are. Before that, he even wrote in his social media truth post that it feels like US has lost India and Russia to the most deepest and darkest China. Understanding? See, we all know by now that US President Donald Trump is more of, let's say, transactional diplomacy is what he does. And second things, we cannot rely very heavily on USA because again, USA doesn't differentiate between ally or enemies. It only has one thing in its mind, that is protectionism of USA. So the first camp, that is the strategic autonomy camp, tells India and China coming closer is a very good thing. Why is it a very good thing? Because India and China both pursue something called a strategic autonomy. As long as both are coming towards this strategic autonomy, maintaining their own independent foreign policy, then this is a good thing. So much so that in your state-controlled medias of China daily, they are even reporting about India news in the front page. So this is more of a pro stance. That is, yes, they are considering India and China getting together is a good thing as long as they both are adhering to their strategic autonomy and independent foreign policy. Okay, so this is a positive coverage and they both hope for, that is, they wish that both India and China will be able to counter your US hegemony. The second set of camp or the second set of perspective or view is Asian neighbors must unite camp. Where he works from your Center of International with respect to South Asian Studies. One of the main things they are telling is, look at the word Asian neighbors. Your US has always been trying to sow the seeds of discord. It is trying, your US is trying to make sure two greatest Asian neighbors who are giant globally, economically, should be always fighting. This is the objective of USA. And now that we have seen USA's true colors, we have to move away from USA and both these Asian neighbors must unite. This is the stance of your Asian neighbors must unite camp. Now, before we move on to the third one, If you're someone who is looking forward to kickstart your UPSC civil service journey, then look no further. You have found the right spot with Legacy IAS Academy. One of the best things about Legacy IAS Academy is we maintain a strict batch size limit of 40 numbers so as to give you individualized and personalized training. Legacy IAS Academy also offers you one-on-one mentorship, easy access to the educators, daily answer writing challenge, and also with respect to your prelims mock test series, interview mock test panel. We also conduct our classes in both offline as well as online medium. For those of you who are working professionals and graduates, we do conduct weekend classes. To know how the classes are, you can schedule a demo class either online or offline. For more information, you can contact the number given below or check out Legacy IAS Academy website. Alright, now let's enter into the third camp. What is the third camp? The constant vigilance camp. Now here the views of, see, Lee Guangman. He is a popular columnist who tells that, are we fools to help India in trying to build its economy, in trying to build its infrastructure? Why would we do that? And these people are also pointing out Modi did not come, Indian Prime Minister did not come to visit China. He came to SCO Summit. Since after your Russia suggested involvement of India in SCO has become practically useless. That is their view. And they're also holding the opinion that the sudden closeness of India towards China is only because it is being bullied by your USA. If USA offers, again, let's say certain strategic developments, it will go back to your USA. So they are telling we cannot trust India and you have to be more of a cautious tale. One thing they are not trying to see is India is not a puppet in US's hand. If anything, they want to confer as to how India is, it has to see how India is standing its ground despite the tariffs that has been put on it, and it is still trying to hold foot. And also it has to once see how India's policies are in trying to visualize its neighborhood policy. Yes, there has been frozen relationship between India and China, but India is not the one to blame. Here, rather than the blame, both of them has to respect each other's strategic autonomy. So that has to be the key point here. Now, if you see how the social media is responding, especially to larger social media of China are your WeChat and Weibo. In both of these, your urban class largely feels like India is trying to come closer to China is because of the issues or tariff hit that is your US is imposing or your US punishment of India. It also feels like the public sentiment is almost hostile and not as favorable as it should be. And it also feels that in your China should always be cautious about how India is, because at any point of time India could swing back to USA if concessions are offered. So, in the overall, the popular sentiment of China is general caution, and they feel that India is using China to counter your USA, and the social media largely the opinion is India is not a reliable partner. So to conclude this topic, how this China's perception is, it is split into three ways. One is the pro-India, that is they are supporting the strategic autonomy. Another is Asian unity versus US hegemony, which they feel is the need of the hour. And the third is the constant vigilance group, which says that China should always be very vigilant on India. If you see the social media perception, that is also more of your cautious tale suggestment. What are the challenges in front of India? See, first and foremost, with respect to USA, we know that US President Donald Trump does only transactional diplomacy. Russia is our traditional ally, and China is our regional power dynamic and also our very immediate neighbor. Balancing all three, or the balancing act of India, is now constantly tested in these tough times. Alright, with this we come to the end of the video. If you like our content, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, share it along with your friends. Thank you.